On Saturday, stars of the big and small screen converged on Cowes for the first Isle of Wight Comic-Con. A chance for sci-fi and fantasy fans to meet some of their heroes and for others to show off the elaborate costumes they've spent hours making. We were there to chat to the stars, some of whom this was their first convention in the UK. The Comic-Con is a great way for the stars of TV and film to rub shoulders with the fans. As well as the big events held in London and Birmingham, smaller, more intimate events have been popping up across the country. And now the Isle of Wight has joined them by holding its first ever convention in Cowes.
It was about time, really. There's a big fan base here, and no one's really taken that step to bring everyone together, and we did, and here we are. I think it just needs a group of people to bring people together, really. I think a lot of people have thought about it, and as such, but they never really actually taken that step to do it, and we've done it, and here we are. Oh, it's an amazing venue. It's very, very unique. It's not the kind of venue you would normally get in a Comic-Con, but we're working with it. It's going well, and we'll be here next year. Red Funnel, Visit Wight. We've had a lot of support from a lot of people, and it's been good, and it's good to see that kind of support for an event like this, for a first-time event like this, and we can only grow it from here on out.
The weekend attracted guests from all over the world, and for one it was his first convention in the UK, whereas for others it was right on their doorstep.
It's Clerks, man. You can't go wrong with that. It's a classic film, it's a cult film, and it's his first time European show, and he's here on the island.
Well, being that this is the first one I've done in England here, this is more of what we would call a hotel show back in the States. So it's not a big convention center, it's not a big laid out kind of grid that you would normally see at the bigger Comic-Cons. But I like it, it's very intimate here. I have family that live here in England, both in Birmingham and over in the South Coast area, so it was nice. I wish I could stay longer, but unfortunately I'm bumper to bumper between shooting another movie that I have to be back for, so I can't go visit them. But if you're there watching the news, hello, yes, I'm in the country, but I can't go visit you.
And I always wanted to come to Cowes. As a kid, I had some pictures of boat racing from this island, and so I never knew where it was. And so the moment that I heard, that the Isle of Wight was having a convention, I was interested. It's one of these places where maybe you wouldn't expect to have a convention, But then again, I think you guys had the biggest music festival of all time in the UK back in 1970, and now I think Ben is trying to follow suit with that and make a very popular destination Comic-Con. I almost went to the Isle of Man by mistake when I was doing my travels here. I didn't know there was two islands, the Isle of Wight and the Isle of Man. As I travel the world and I'm involved in more and more Comic-Cons, I find the ones that are held in the smaller towns in the provinces and stuff like this, they're the ones that have a lot of colour and a lot of originality. And of course, you like Ben has here, you sort of marry into the landscape or to the actual sort of the place itself. And I love being at this convention because, we're in one of the grand old halls here, all the people that are coming through are all very local. You go to the ones in the big city in London and stuff like that, and it's such a big mismatch that you don't really get the sense of culture. But definitely being part of this convention, I get a true sense of what the Isle of Wight is.
Because I love the Isle of Wight. I come here on holiday. I only live in Hampshire. I love the fans. I love chatting and having a laugh with people. I love pictures and signing for people, having photos with people. Yeah, I started off 35 years ago as an Ewok at a Jawa. They were advertising for people under 4'6" for his film, and I rung up and said I'm under 4'6", and they said you're in, and I went and got a fitting, and I was 2.5 weeks as an Ewok, and then the assistant director come up and said to me and my mate, do you want to be a Jawa in another scene, and we were Jawas, and the good thing is there's only about 7 or 8 of us left, proper sized Jawas. There's some children that were Jawas, but now they've grown up taller than you. Well, my favourite production is Phantom of the Opera, the Joel Schumacher one. However, you've got to love Star Wars. It's just iconic, and it's there for years, and the rest of my life I'll be known as an Ewok and Jawa. And also Harry Potter. We do a lot of Harry Potter, and I was in 4 of them, so I did quite a lot with that, and that will be iconic as well. And I've also done a tiny little bit, and I'm not being a pun about being small, on Fantastic Beasts, on the first one, so yeah. Did I say the first one? Oh, naughty.
Comic-Con is all about artist meets the public face, so for me it's a real kind of litmus test on how the public have reacted to the career that I've had. There's fans here that come to see me from playing Azog in The Hobbit, or playing Crixus in Spartacus, or Deathstroke in Arrow. I have a sort of a diverse group of fan followings, but when I come to these conventions, they get to come and see the person that they love off television, the character that I play. I'm a New Zealand actor, and a lot of us have had our first cut into the industry through Peter Jackson, and it's one of our proud flags that we wave, but coming to parts of the world like this, and especially back to Britannia, being New Zealanders, or, I also grew up in Australia, you sort of connect the dots. You realise how story is universal, how Lord of the Rings, kind of like, we have, of course it was shot in New Zealand, but it was written about here, yet when you go to the areas around Oxford where it was originally written, you get the feeling of where J.R. Tolkien was thinking of how that world looked. And it was easily adapted into New Zealand, of course, because New Zealand was, through the Commonwealth, turned into farmlands and rolling hills, and this is a similar thread.
Very thankful, A, that there's an event here on the island, and B, just the fact that they invited me out here was a huge. So many people have come up who have been fans for many, many years, some even from the beginning in '94. So it's good to finally meet the UK fans.
With so many visitors over the 2 days, plans are already in place for next year.
As long as Ben is doing Comic-Cons here in the Isle of Wight, I'm certain I'll come back.
Oh, we're going to go bigger. We're going to have Comic-Con cruises coming over from Southampton. Yeah, there's a lot planned.
This is Richard Stringer for That's TV.